When we start to take a lot of steps back home to our true selves, coming back home again, where we finally realize that a lot of the things that we thought were the true reality was just, as a matter of fact, an illusion. It wasn't a reality, but it was something perceived to be something that it's not. And now I'm talking about this idea of a person that we have created. Because with this person comes a lot of emotions, feelings, and thoughts, perceptions, and assumption of a lot of the things that we are experiencing. But when we're coming back more to the real you and me, what we really are, which is the pure awareness, we gotta realize that we're actually starting now to actually have options, and we actually have a chance to control our reality now. We can control ourselves to the degree that we can choose to put attention to thoughts that arises inside ourselves, and we can actually choose to let go of them. And we can also choose to put a positive tonality to a thoughts instead of a negative ones. So the most important thing that we can always do is to become aware of the things that happen inside ourselves. So let's say you're a person now and you're gonna start your day. You open the door where you're pulling up the curtains on the window and you see out and you see a dark, really dark and gray day. Tons of clouds. It rains a lot. The first thought is gonna rise in you, which you most likely can't control, is, oh fuck, it's raining now again. But now when you're aware of these thoughts that they come up inside of yourself, is that now you can choose to not put attention to the other thought. You can actually turn down that other thought that's going to be a negative tonality. So instead of just keep going with these thoughts and like, oh fuck, it should be different. It shouldn't be like this today. It was supposed to be sun now. You can just learn to let go of that second thought. Of course, you can get to the point where you don't even have that first negative thought, obviously. But most likely, in the beginning, we're going to realize that these thoughts are just going to come up inside of ourselves. And when they do it, in the beginning, it's very of high importance that we just switch it. So instead of just putting attention to the negative tonality of that thought, choose to view it in a different way. Choose to view it more with a person, with more positive tone to it. Which can be like, oh, but the rain is good for the plants. Maybe the rain is good for the nature. It's nice that it rains because now I have time to do a lot of things inside my house or in my apartment. So it's very important that we can minimize our suffering very easily by just becoming aware of these things. Because how many people do you think each and every day they wake up and they live? There's so many things that happen in their lives that they don't think they can control. They don't think they have an option actually to feel happy about them, to feel happy and joyful about whatever happens. So let's say you're driving your car and it's an accident. It forms a long queue line. Maybe you get late for work. Now do you become aware of the thoughts that are going to rise inside of yourself that this should not be like this. It shouldn't be a queue line now. I should be at work now. What is my boss going to think about this? You can just drop those thoughts now. You can just let go of them. Because whatever happens, happens, and that's what is. That's just is. So if we can learn to accept things as they are, we can learn to accept our reality as it is right now, we can end the suffering right now. We don't have to partake in it. It's just a choice we're making each and every day. But we can actually now, because we're aware of it, turn it down and say, no thanks, no, my personality and my ego that's bombarding me with these negative thoughts, I'd rather not partake in it. I'd rather just choose to listen to my true self and feel okay with whatever happens now. And what we're also going to experience is that when we stop putting attention to these things, the negative aspect of it, things are going to flow very easily. The QU line is going to work out pretty smoothly. Because how many times has it happened that we become so frustrated and angry? We put so much negative attention, maybe outrage, and then we realize it just took maybe 1 or 2 extra minutes, and then we're got to the destination that we're heading at. And we're just thinking about, why did I get angry about this? It didn't take that long time anyway. So the best thing we can always do is to become aware of the things that happens, become aware of the situations and the things that happens inside ourselves. So by just switching attention, switching focus to something else, which is a positive thought instead of the negative ones, things are not going to perceive to be that bad as we thought they were. Because it's just our assumption that things should be different. It shouldn't be like this. Everything comes down to the now, to living in the moment, in the present moment. Maybe we shouldn't say moment, because moment means that it's fixated. Because everything's we're just going all the time. But when you start living in the present, the only thing that exists, the suffering doesn't exist. Because think about it. The reason why we get frustrated is because you're living in the future in the form of, I am gonna be at my job in 15 minutes. That's living in the future. You're living in the past. I looked at the app the other day that said it was gonna be sun. You're suffering because you're putting attention to what has already happened, which is in the past, which is, you can control it. It is what it is. So when we accept these small things and this, I mean, you can laugh like it can sound ridiculous and but this is the case. It is so easy. For the past few months now, I've been really putting a lot of attention to this. When I got back from Dominican Republic to Sweden 1.5 weeks ago now, I had 2 planes that got delayed. I had to wait 7 hours extra. I didn't put any negative thought about it at all. I just accepted it as it was. That was a test for me. And I overcome it pretty easily. Because I learned that it doesn't serve me any good to put a negative attention to it whatsoever. Because if it is delayed, it is delayed. You're just gonna move and operate from that new reality. That's the best way. So that's just an example like what can happen. And once we get aware of these things, we actually have the ability to control our reality, because we have the ability to control ourselves, to control our thoughts, what we put attention to, because when we put attention to these thoughts, the negative aspect, I will start to create emotions inside ourselves. But when I don't put any negative attention to them, I don't feel anything. Everything is just fine. And that's what's so powerful with this. So we can change our whole life in an instant, just because we get aware of the things, of the nature of ourselves, the nature of the reality. But I would say this to you, that never fight the thoughts, just accept them. Let them be. I mean, they're neither good or bad, they just are. If they come up inside of yourself, let them be. If you start working them, avoid the negativity around them, because it doesn't serve you. We talk soon. I want to wish you a fantastic evening. Take care. Bye bye.